Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It is Johnny TCG back with another video. Today, I've got a video on Jewelry Bonney from OP07, who I think is going to be one of the better leaders in the 8.5 meta. Bonney doesn't get a ton of direct support, but she does get one new thing, and that one new thing is pretty good. The new 9-cost Shanks was originally made for the new Uta starter deck, but it fits amazing in Bonney. His effect simply reads on play, KO one of your opponent's rested characters. This is great on its own, but combined with Bonney's ability of being able to rest your opponent's characters, it gets an extra layer of utility. This gives Bonney a way to deal with the big threats that she didn't have before. For example, a rested 10-drop Big Mom is just too strong for a Bonney to deal with. We can freeze it with Doflamingo or a 5-drop Bonney, but there's no way for us to really get rid of it efficiently unless we're just throwing a bunch of down on a character and swinging into it. Now, if it's rested, we just play down the 9-cost Shanks and we get rid of one of their big bodies, we develop a big body of our own. It's a win-win. This isn't my final 8.5 list for Bonney. I'm still testing different things out. Right away, I do think that we should probably go up one more 10-cost Dofi. This card is amazing, especially when chained together. I think with continued testing that I'm going to at least want one more, maybe even two. The question is, who do I get rid of to add that extra Dofi in? I'm thinking maybe we go down one Basil Hawkins or one Rosinante blocker. I don't know. We only run 8 2Ks in this deck, which I feel like for most decks would be way too low. But in this deck, with Bonney's ability, I think it's all right. I mean, your experience may differ, and I'm certainly going to be testing it out even more to figure out what the best number is for myself. But right now, I think that ratio is not bad. Cards that I think are going to be the most relevant in the 8.5 meta are going to be first, 8-cost Eustace Captain Kidd. This is going to be great. More than great. Amazing in the blue Dofi matchup if your opponent does not run Gum Gum Red Rock. I am not sure what deck I'm going to main in 8.5, but if it is blue Dofi, I am gonna include a Red Rock because I played against a bunch of different Dofis with this deck, and if they just didn't have Red Rock, they couldn't really do anything about it. Most Dofis, their highest powered character is going to be 6,000, maybe 7,000 if they play Jozu, and that's just not going to cut it when it comes to getting rid of the Eustace Captain Kidd on board. In my recent testing, I've dropped 9-cost Zoro completely, and while it hasn't felt terrible, I haven't really played against many black-yellow Luffys, and if that card is played, I'm gonna want the Zoro, and so I'm thinking I'm gonna find a way to put at least one of it back in my deck. Let me know what you guys think. This just feels like too good of a card not to include at all, but at the same time, there's so many good cards in this deck, what do I take out? Parrot is so good in the Blue Dofi matchup as well. On play and when attacking, you're going to be able to freeze one of their characters, which is so good if you're able to defend it between using leader ability to arrest one of their swings and then also just maybe having a blocker on board or counter in hand. This card will get you so much value. If a Dofi player starts playing out a ton of Jinbeis starting off of turn 2 and turn 3 and then turn 4, you're not going to be able to keep up with the tempo. But if they're not doing Jinbei, the matchup's not impossible. I think it's actually pretty decent with Bonney. Her ability just lends so well to it. If you can get out the 8-cost Kidd, it's not that bad. 9-cost Shanks, of course, is going to be great in the mirror match. Bonney mirror matches can go crazy long, and frankly, they are not the funnest in the world, but I don't know, just hope you find a Shanks. That is probably also another reason to include the Zoro, is just in case you get into a mirror match, you're gonna want to see it. Again, this is not my final list. This isn't the best list. This is just a starting off point for myself and for you if you'd like to try it out as well. The deck list will be in the description. You can just copy and paste it into the sim. Before we get to the gameplay, of course, I've got a giveaway for you. If you're new here, Johnny TCG gives away a custom card every single video. This week, we're giving away a custom Boom Jewelry Bonney card. This leader looks so cool. All you have to do to win it is 1, leave a like, 2, leave a comment, and that's it. If this video gets 25 likes in the first 24 hours, I will send it to one US-based commenter completely free. Who doesn't want a completely free custom leader? The art is from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. I am not the artist. I am not selling these. It's just a fun hobby. If you want to win it, leave a like, leave a comment. Thank you for the support. If you like the channel and want to see more content like it, hit the subscribe button. That lets me know that you are interested. We are almost at 700 subscribers and I cannot wait. Hopefully. That's enough yapping for me. Roll the gameplay. Now we've got a game against Marco. Marco gets some new support with the new starter decks. The Portcast D Ace and the new Edward Newgate and the new Whitebeard starter deck do fit really well into this Marco leader, and so expect Marco to be a little bit more powerful in the 8.5 meta. We're going to start off by playing a Jewelry Bonney searcher. Now on our second turn, we'll be able to search with her. We find the Cavendish, which is a nice find, and then we'll play out the Baby 5. Hopefully we can find a 10 cost Doflamingo. That card will be really good in this matchup. Late game, Marco can get some big bodies out if they run the 9 cost Sanji, and that can be hard to deal with. So the 10 cost Dofi would be great to control their board a little bit. Also, that new Edward Newgate card I was telling you about that allows them to pop a 5,000 power or less character, but really it's 7,000 with Marco's ability. That needs to be active for the ability to take place, and so if we can keep it rested with Dofi, that would be great. They're going to pop the Jewelry Bonney with a leader swing. That is perfectly fine. Off of the Ezo search, they get a Jozu 2K, and then they play Sanji's Pilaf to draw some cards. That is a fat stack of cards in their hand. For 5 Don, we're going to play Cavendish. We search with Baby 5 again, and this time we do get the 10 cost Dofi. Let's go. And now we'll swing 5,000 into their lead. They'll counter out of that with the new Ace, and then we'll just pass. I really like where our hand's at. We've got a couple nice turns coming up. Next turn, we could go Carrot or Basil Hawkins, maybe even Hody Jones too, but I don't know. I think Hody Jones will probably be better served as a last going for lethal turn play, rest their Marco blockers or their Doflamingo blockers. So I'll probably wait till the end of the game to play that Hody Jones if I do. Then once we get to 9 and 10 Don, we've got the Shanks, which is a new card in the new starter decks that fits well in the Bonney deck. They're going to use one of their 6 Don to use leader ability, drawing one card, putting one card at the bottom, and then minusing the power of Cavendish. Hopefully that Cavendish is not about to get popped. They play down the 4 cost Marco, and so that Cavendish is safe for this turn. They're going to swing 2,000 into Baby 5. That is a little bit of a misplay. We could counter out of this if we want to. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world if we do, because now we can search again for another 10 cost Dofi. That is one thing you have to be careful about, folks, is that it's so easy to just not think when you're playing against Bonney and to swing with a lower powered character than your maximum. And then you just kind of have a play like that. It's a little bit of a blunder. Happens to the best of us, though. We do find the 10 cost Doflamingo off that Baby 5 search. So that was only possible because they made the mistake of swinging with their Ezo and not swinging with their leader. We're going to play it on the 5 cost Bonney to freeze one of their Don, and then just go 6 with Cavendish into their leader. After this, we'll likely just swing 7,000 with our leader. They do give us the Jozu 2K, and so we go 7 into their life. The 7,000 power swing goes through, and now they're down to 2 life cards. They're only at 7 Don this turn, which is crucial. If it weren't for Jewelry Bonney, they'd be at 8 and could play Rayleigh, which would be an amazing play for them this turn. So if they have Rayleigh in their hand, this really threw them off, making them play off curve a little bit, get them off their tempo. They're going to use leader ability to draw one, bottom deck one, and then power down Cavendish. Then they're going to go with Otama to power down the Cavendish even further. That Cavendish is not going to be able to be saved this turn. We do have a Don up for leader ability, which is nice, and I'm not sure what they're cooking with 5 Don still up. But regardless, that Cavendish is going to die. They play down the Marco 5 cost. I love the artwork on that Marco card. And yeah, so RIP Cavendish, you're handsome, but yeah, you died. Sorry, we couldn't save you. Now they're going to swing 6,000 with Leader into my baby 5, and it just makes the most sense for me to rest their blocker Marco, I think. I did consider resting their 5-cost KO Marco, because that's a better card that I could pop with Shanks if I wanted to. But I think I just want to apply pressure to life right now. And maybe I'll play out Carrot and a Rouge. That doesn't sound like a bad play. We'll start with 5,000 from Leader and go from there. They will give us the 1k counter out of that. Now we can swing with the Jewelry Bonney character. 6,000 power swing at Leader. If they want to defend out of this, they got to give us a 2k, which they do. Now we'll play, I think we can play a little bit defensively here. We'll go a Rouge, freeze their Marco blocker. A Rouge lets us set Adonis active, so we'll be able to rest one of their characters. Now, this is a big turn for them. If they do play out a Sanji and a Whitebeard or Sanji and a Rayleigh, that would really kind of turn the tide of this game. They're going to start their turn by using Leader ability, putting one card at the top of their deck and minusing Bonney. That is not a good sign. They do have the Sanji Rayleigh combo, so the Bonney will likely die here unless they choose something else. Actually, I think it would make more sense to kill the Carrot. Yeah, because then they can swing into the Bonney. Great play by them. We are going to have to kind of be a little smart about what we do here. We're going to rest the Sanji that they just played out with our Leader ability. We could have rested the Marco and therefore would not have to deal with another swing this turn, but I felt it was better to rest the Sanji because then we can freeze it with one of our 10-drop Doflamingos. I think that's going to be the play here. Swing 5 with Leader into their Leader, but it doesn't really matter if we swing in a blocker Marco or Leader. I guess blocker Marco it would make sense to swing into, but either way, swing 5,000 into their Leader. They do give me the 1k. Now it's time for 10-cost Dofi to come out. We are going to keep their Sanji rested, their Leader rested, and then does it make sense to do the blocker? I guess it does. I wonder, in hindsight, should we have rested the Leader instead? I think we should have rested the Leader or keep the Leader rested, because then it would have felt bad if they used their Leader ability because they're wasting Don. Regardless, it doesn't matter too much though. They'll only be able to swing with Marco or Rayleigh. They won't be able to swing with both. Not a big deal. And they'll start their turn by using Leader ability, drawing one card. They bottom deck one card, and then they minus the Doflamingo, which makes me a little bit nervous because I would expect them to minus the power of the Rouge. I know Tama brings down the 10-cost Dofi even further. Are they going to have some special spice to get rid of it? They're going to play the Thatch, which lets him minus another 2,000 from my Doflamingo. Now my Doflamingo is only at 4,000 power. They use the Fire Fist from OP03. I love that card to KO both of my characters on board, my Rouge and my 10-cost Dofi. That feels really bad. I gotta respect it though. That was a clean play. I did not think they had that in them. They did take a life card of theirs, and they did get rid of two 2k counters from their hand. So they are making themselves a little bit vulnerable here. I could honestly push for game if I swung with Jewelry Bonney and then Hody Jones. I probably would have it. Maybe if I swung 7 with Bonney and then 9 with Hody. I'm just going to start with 5 because I think 10-cost Dofi is the safest play here. Even though I could have been a little bit adventurous and went for it, and still probably have been fine, just because I do have a lot of cards in hand, and with Leader ability I would have been able to rest one of their characters. I decide just to take it a little bit slow. When it comes to Bonney games, it does kind of feel like slow and steady is usually the right way. No need to rush. Our Leader ability feels great in the late game, and so they would have to really play out 2 blockers here if they wanted to win. And even if they did, it wouldn't matter because I would just drop the Hody. This is basically GG's. 5,000 at me, 7,000 at me. It does not matter. We can just start with 5.
hypothetically, we could just do 5, but I'm like, what's the point of being silly? 10,000 with Dofi will hit, and then we'll throw it all on our leader and swing big with her. Our 10,000 attack goes through. Our 15,000 power attack must go through, and that is game. GG's. Let's take a look at a game against Blue Doflamingo from OP01. He's been around since the beginning, but he is now finally becoming the best deck in the format. With the new starter decks, Blue Doflamingo gets even better, and he is really going to take over the meta. They are on the odd curve, and they're going to start for 1 Don playing the Perona, setting either the top or bottom of their deck. I would love to see it say they're setting the bottom, but alas, it does say they are setting the cards on the top of their deck. They pass it back to me, and with 2 Don, I don't have any searchers to play out. I could not play anything, but I decide just to put out the Rosinante because later on, I will want that Rosinante to be out. I'm not sure how long I will save it for, but I don't know. I feel like against Doflamingo, it can't hurt to really have it out. If they want to Gravity Blade Raging Tiger it, then go ahead. If they want to bounce it back to hand with Jozu or the new Law, go ahead. They're going to swing 7 with Leader, play out the Mihawk, and then I'll take that. We get the Rouge, which is a good find. That'll be the perfect turn 2 play. I did not have anything else to do. I was not about to set up 3 Rosinante blockers on the field, even though that could be a spicy new strategy. They're at 5 Don. Let's see what kind of shenanigans they're going to pull. They're going to start with just a normal leader swing with effect, playing out the buggy off the top of their life. Using our leader ability, we can rest the Mihawk, and I'm thinking we just take this life. We get another Basil Hawkins, which is fine. That card's going to be pretty good in this matchup. Now, at 6 Don, I'm thinking that we play out the Basil. We could also do Baby 5 search and look for some 2Ks and another 10 cost Dofi. Since I already have the Rosinante on the field and I'm going to play out a Hawkins, I am going to swing with my Rouge. 2 5,000 powered swings into the Mihawk. They counter out of both of them, but that is cool with me. It's getting cards out of their hand. And then we're just going to play down the Hawkins. A Rouge lets us restand it Don, so our leader ability will be active. They're probably going to... They're going to swing with leader first, and then we can use our leader ability. Here is the Jinbei finally coming out. That is the best card in this deck, no doubt. It basically allows them to get crazy tempo and go really wide. We are going to block out of the 7,000 swing with Rosinante. Yeah, I just don't want to go too far down in life. They might throw a bunch of Don on Buggy or Perona and swing, but it doesn't matter because we have Hawkins to block it. For 4 Don, they're going to play out another Weevil. So now they've been able to go kind of wide, and the pressure is going to be on a little bit next turn. But I'm not crazy worried about it. We do have Carrot, which would be a nice play. I was thinking about Eustace Captain Kidd, but we can't use his ability this turn because we don't have enough Don to arrange it properly. So maybe Carrot is the way to go. Carrot and Baby 5, or Carrot and Rosinante blocker. Let me know what you would do in the comments down below. Since we are going to play Carrot here, I am going to give a Don to my leader and swing 6,000 into the Jinbei. The reason I did Jinbei instead of Mihawk, not that it matters too much, is because if they take it back from the grave, at least it's only a 1K they're getting. They will give us a 2K to get out of that leader swing. The Jinbei stays alive. We're going to swing 5,000 with a Rouge into it. Here, I might be getting a little bit greedy. This might be a mistake. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm going to swing with both a Rouge and Basil Hawkins just so I can clear their board. We'll start out 5,000, which they give me a 1K. And then before I do Carrot, I think I'm actually going to swing 7,000 with Hawkins. I really hope this attack goes through. They'd have to give me both cards in their hand if they want to keep the Jinbei alive. They don't save it, which is exactly what I wanted. We're going to play out the Carrot to freeze the Mihawk, and then we'll go with the Rosinante. This was really such a greedy play. Resting both my Rouge and Basil Hawkins feels bad, but I had to do something to get rid of their board. I want to search with the baby 5, but I think we got to play a little bit safer and go with the Rosinante blocker. We'll pass. We get to restand it down with the Rouge, and we're in an okay place. We're not in an amazing place, but we're not in a bad place either. 6,000 with Weevil. That's got to be a little bit of a misplay because I'm able to rest their leader. If they did plan on using leader ability, maybe they didn't plan on using leader ability, so it's no big deal. We will take the first 6,000 swing from Weevil. Now another 6,000 swing. We do not have a 2K in our hand, and so it will be obvious if we counter out with two 1Ks that we don't have any 2Ks. It looks like they're probably going to Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, and they do. The Rouge and the Basil Hawkins go bye-bye, and now we just have a carrot left standing on our board. They just almost completely wiped our board, which is not great, but at least we still have the carrot. Next turn, we can actually 10 cost a Doflamingo if we want. We have to make the decision between doing 10 cost Dofi or 8-drop Eustace Captain Kidd. Either way seems like a pretty good option for us. We're going to start by doing 6,000 into a Weevil and then freeze one of their other Weevils with our carrot on board. Then we'll swing 5,000 with our leader into the Mihawk. They let that Weevil go. That is pretty good. If they let this Mihawk go, then I feel like we will likely drop the 8-cost Kid instead of the 10-cost Dofi, just because the 8-cost Kid will get us more value. The Mihawk's gone, and now we're just going to play out the 8-cost Kid. We do have the 2-cost Rosinante blocker to go with it, which is Chef's Kiss. Absolutely splendid. Unless they have a Red Rock in their hand, I don't think there's any way they can really deal with the Kid this turn. They are going to play down the 4-drop Pudding to make us shuffle our hand into our deck. That stinks. We did have a very nice hand, a lot of cards, and a 10-drop Dofi for us to play next turn. But the hand we got isn't terrible either. We got some counter. We got 2 Searchers. We got a 5-cost Jewelry Bonney, which will be good into this matchup. A mistake. I wonder if they were trying to clear the carrot. They're going to swing 8,000 with Buggy. Why they wouldn't swing with that with leader confuses me. Using our leader ability, we're going to rest their Blackbeard. If we had a 10-cost Dofi in our hand, we probably would have rested their leader and locked that down next turn. But since there's no guarantee of us being able to do that, I think making the Blackbeard available to swing into and getting it off the board is a safer, better play. We'll start with a 6,000 swing in a Blackbeard, and then we'll freeze their Weevil. At this point in the game, I think we've got the win in the bag. Obviously, we can't go for lethal this turn, but there's just no way for them to deal with the characters on my board, and I'm just going to be able to chip away at their life slowly. Me swinging into the Buggy here is definitely overly cautious. The Buggy was no real threat to me. I just kind of wanted to clear board as much as possible, but that's unnecessary. I'm going to play down the Rouge and the Jewelry Bonney. With Bonney, I'll freeze one of their Don, and with a Rouge, I get to restand one of my Don as active. They play down a Buggy, which will allow them to reset the top cards of their deck. At this point, it does not really matter what they do, though. I do not think they're going to be able to get rid of my Eustace Captain Kidd, and then the carrot will continue to rest their rested characters, and so it's just going to be a never-ending cycle for them. Next turn, I'll be able to put some pressure on their life, and then maybe the turn after that, I'll be able to push for lethal. They're going to swing 10 into the Eustace Captain Kidd, and off leader ability, they get the Edward Weevil. We'll rest the Charlotte Pudding, and we could give them some counter from hand with the 0-cost event. I think we should do that and maybe get rid of the Viola. Or we could just give them the Rosinante. We give them the Rosinante, but I don't think it really matters too much. We do top deck a Cavendish, which is a solid card, which I will probably play out, but we really can just swing mostly at life this turn. I don't really need to be playing as cautiously as I have been. We'll start with 7,000 with Carrot into their life, freezing one of their Weevils. They will take that hit. No trigger. Now it's time for 7,000 with our Bonney character into their life. We could definitely be swinging for a little bit bigger here. They take the 7,000 from my Bonney character. We are going to play out the Baby 5 Searcher before we do any more swings, just to fill up our hand a little bit. We can go 10 cost Dofi or the 2k counter Baby 5. I don't think we can go wrong either way. I don't think we lose this game either way. We're going to take the 10 cost Doflamingo and then just swing big with our leader. There's no point in playing out the Cavendish, I don't think. We'll just swing 10,000 and then 9,000 with our Eustace Captain Kidd. Did they get a trigger? No trigger. 10,000 here. We're going to be a little bit cheeky, I guess, but it doesn't matter. Getting rid of the Weevil. I just would rather be safe than sorry, so we get rid of the Weevil. It doesn't matter either way. They're not going to be able to kill this Eustace Captain Kidd unless they have Red Rock. And even if they do Red Rock, we are in great position to win the game next turn. They do have a lot of cards in hand, though, so they could block her up here. They're going to start with a 9,000 swing in the Kidd, doing a blind Dofi effect, which they can't use because it's Perona. 9,000, that's not going to be enough. I don't even have to use a blocker for that. I can just give them the 2k counter. Then with 5 Don left up, it doesn't even matter if they throw it on Buggy. They'll have to play out Jinbei into Boa Hancock, which would normally be really good, but at this late in the game, it just does not do enough for you. They pass it back to us, and hopefully I can just finish them off this turn. I need to not be so hesitant and just push for game a little bit more. We're going to start with a 9,000 swing from Carrot, freezing the Edward Weevil. They do let that one go through. Now we'll swing 9,000 with Jewelry Bonney. It doesn't really matter. We could have also went big with Eustace Captain Kidd and then our leader. They're going to block out of the 9,000 power Bonney swing, and so then we'll just swing big with 8 cost Kidd, and that's game. GG's. Next up, we have a game against starter deck 11 Uta. Uta just got a new power up as well with the new starter decks. She got a re-release with a bunch of new cards, mostly old cards, but a bunch of new ones as well. We are on the odd curve, and we are going to go first. We are going to play out the Baby 5. We'll be able to use that search next turn, along with maybe another Baby 5 searcher. So we'll do a double search. Who does not love a turn 2 double search? They are going to play New Genesis and get a Nico Robin off of that search. Our first search with Baby 5 gets us a 10 cost Dofi. You love to see it. Now we'll swing with 5,000 with Leader into their life. Will they take this? Will they counter? Stay tuned, folks. Do not look away. And they'll give me the 1k Robin that they just drew for counter. Now we're going to do another Baby 5 search. This time we will take the Viola 2k. Now with 2 searchers out, they probably won't be able to deal with both of them. And so that means we might do another search next turn. We will be at 5 Don though, so we might just play Carrot depending on the situation. They play the new 4-drop Uta blocker. 4 cost, 6,000 power. This new blocker is pretty cool. 6,000 at one of our rested Baby 5s, and we'll let it go. Here is where I think we force them to block for free, and then we trap that Uta with our Carrot. We'll swing 5,000 at their leader. They do take the free block. It was bait. You've been tricked. Now we'll play out the Carrot, and that Uta blocker is going to be frozen for a long time. Unfortunately, they do have another Uta blocker, so we will have to find a way to deal with that one. And then they'll give 2 down to their leader, swing 7,000 at us. We'll take this. They were able to draw the new starter deck 16 Monkey D. Luffy off their leader ability, and now they pass it to us. We are going to be at 7 Don. We have a couple different options. We could be crazy and do a Hody Jones play to rest their other blocker. I don't think that's necessary. I definitely like to save Hody Jones for late in the game, so I'm thinking maybe we a Rouge and Baby 5, and then Rosinante too if I have the Don. I think I will if I calculated that correctly. Off the Baby 5, we can only either take another Baby 5 searcher or a Viola 2K. We'll go with the Viola 2K. And then it makes sense. We're not even going to bother playing a 2-cost Rosinante blocker. We're just going to swing 7,000 into their life and then play out the 4-cost Rouge. They are going to counter out of that, and they just keep countering out of hits. They're down major when it comes to card advantage, and so, yeah, I'm a little skeptical of their strategy. They do use the backlight to KO my Carrot. That stinks. That Carrot was put in absolute work. But it is what it is. Now they're going to go 3 down on Leader, swinging 8,000 at me and using Leader ability to draw a Nico Robin. We are going to use Leader ability to rest their Uta blocker, and we're going to take that. 3 down left up, it's probably an I'm Invincible, which would make things a little uncomfortable. I don't want to take another 8,000 swing, but I also definitely don't want to counter out of it either. I think I'm just going to take this one. Do we get anything interesting? We get another 0-cost event. We do top deck a Carrot, which is perfect. Really be able to lock their board down. Before we do anything else, I am going to do a Baby 5 search. Looking for a 10-cost Dofi. We find a Viola 2K. My gut tells me that we're going to need all the counter that we can get. That they probably run more than one I'm Invincible. Now we're going to swing 6,000 with our Leader into one of their Uta blockers. They counter out of that, and then we're just going to go Carrot and 2-cost Rosinante. The Rouge lets us set a Don as active, and so we'll be able to rest their other Uta blocker when they probably, I assume, swing with Leader. They're at 10 down. It'll be interesting to see if they play any top end that isn't Film. We might see a 10-cost Dofi. But it looks like they don't have that. They're just going to swing 10,000 with lead into Baby 5. We will let that go. We could save it with the Rouge or the 2-cost Rosinante, but I think the Baby 5 has done its job. We'd rather save the blockers for our life or for a more important character. They're going to search with New Genesis and get a backlight and not do anything, leaving 5 down up. I think they were just in a weird position, and yeah, there's nothing much they can do right now. Bonney really does a great job of locking down the board, and with our Leader ability, making it so that almost every turn one of their characters is not getting any value is really strong. We're going to start by going 5,000 into their life with our Leader. They give us a counter with that. I think their issue here is that they're countering out too much. Giving away a 2K counter when they're still at 5 life just seems bad in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. Now we're going to go 6,000 into one of the Utas, which they will counter, but we are freezing their other Uta with that Carrot swing. Then we're going to go Shanks to pop one of their other Utas. We ended up leaving a Don up, so our math wasn't perfect. I was considering playing the 10-drop Dofi, but I feel like we should save that. They're going to backlight the Carrot, which I can just use Rosinante to save. They'll probably swing big with Uta again. I could see them doing another I'm Invincible here. They'll start with 2 down on their Leader. Will they swing for more? Yes, they're going to give 5 down to their Leader. If they're going into life, I may take this, but I don't want to take both. They're using the 4-cost Uta ability where they trash a film card from their hand and give their Leader a rested Don. 11,000 at my life. They left 3 down up, which is probably another I'm Invincible. I'm just going to block out of this attack with a Rouge. They could swing in a Carrot here, and if they do that, I don't know if I'd save her. They're going to go into life, and I'm going to start countering out, even though I'm not sure if it makes a huge difference, but we've got a ton of counter to spare, might as well. We'll counter out of this one. We're getting rid of so many cards out of our hand. That feels pretty bad. Couple of 2Ks, and now it's back to us. We still have not gotten them to take a life, but that's all right. I like where we're at right now. We're going to start with 5,000 into their life. I imagine they have to take this, and they do. Now we'll go 6,000 into their life, freezing their Uta blocker. They take that one as well. Now we'll go 11,000 with red hair Shanks into their life. They're going to take that. And we are in a pretty good position. I think now 10 cost Dofi is the move. We're only freezing their leader, but hey, it's also developing a big body. They could still swing with their leader if they want to, if they played I Am Invincible, but they will use 9 Dawn to play out Shanks to KO our Shanks. That feels bad, but we're still in a good spot. No issues here. We are going to be able to swing. We could maybe even push for lethal. I don't think that's what we're going to do this turn. I think our own Shanks might be a good response play, or maybe throwing down the 2-cost Rosinante blocker. We are going to start by swinging 9,000 with Carrot into their leader, freezing their Uta blocker again. They let the 9,000 hit, so now I'm thinking that we swing 10 with Dofi. And if this hits, we could be greedy and go for game, but I think that we have to leave a Dawn up at least for leader ability. The 10 cost Dofi swing does hit, and here is where I make a little bit of a misplay. In the scheme of things, I don't think it matters, but I accidentally give my leader 5 Dawn, so I'm swinging with 10 for 10,000. I wanted to play Rosinante and leave 1 up for leader ability, so I should have left 3 up. But it's whatever. That shouldn't really change the outcome of this game. They counter up to 7,000. Do they have the rest? They don't. That's GG's anyway. Good game.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. We're pretty limited as the sim still is not updated to be 8.5 specific, so I had to go into OP09 and then go from there and find only games that were 8.5 or only. I will definitely have more Bonney content coming out for you, so definitely subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to do a ton of different videos on leaders that got boosts with the new starter decks in this format. I cannot wait. We're talking Red Ace, we're talking Red Blue Marco, we're talking Monkey D. Dragon, maybe. I don't know. Does anyone even care about Monkey D. Dragon? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you care about Monkey D. Dragon. That's all I got for you today. Don't forget, if you want to win the custom Bonney Leader, all you got to do is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. This video gets 25 likes in the first 24 hours. I'll be giving it away. If you made it this far, consider subscribing because there probably will be more content that you like. Some off-meta content, some meta content, and everything in between. This has been a Johnny TCG production. Peace.